Hello, hello. This is the Meta Man bringing you the most undervalued, extremely undervalued coin in the whole cryptoverse. And what is it? I'm going to tell you, but don't you slink away once you find out what it is, because I can't just say the name of a coin, you suddenly run around and get it, because this is not about giving you investment advice. This is about entertainment and education. You need to learn. I'm going to tell you exactly why this coin is so amazing. I'm going to explain what decentralization is, because you've heard of decentralization, but you may not know exactly what it is. And then I'm going to give you the technical analysis for this coin so you'll know exactly when it's going to go to the moon and how high it's going to go. So stick with me. Actually, if you don't want to stick with me, then just go right here and look at Axie Infinity, because I think that's a really good coin too. And by the way, meet my friend. If I'm going to give you a prediction, I better have the advice of a 900-year-old Jedi master helping me. So thank you, Yoda. And Yoda and I are going to tell you what the coin is. But remember, I'm going to tell you what it is, but then you have to listen to why it's so amazing. And you'll be learning what decentralization means. And I'll be giving you the technical analysis so that you'll know when it's going to explode and exactly how much it'll explode to, because Yoda and I know. So here we go. The coin is render. Render. Now, why is render so amazing? Why is render so amazing? And the answer is this. So look at the picture on the screen right now. And I want to explain something. When you make an animated movie, there is a gigantic process at the end that is very expensive and uses gigantic amount of computer power, and it's called rendering. When Disney makes a full-length animated movie, when it's over, they spend weeks with the most massive computers that they own just rendering it. And whenever you are on your computer and you've just done something, and then you see the word processing, and you have to wait, you have to sit there and wait. And that's called, it's called processing, but it's also rendering. And rendering is what goes on many times on your computer, and it's very expensive, takes lots of computing power. But this coin render has come up with a brand new idea. Instead of each person owning their own computer, and their own computer may not be that fast, and has to do this gigantic job of rendering maybe once or twice a day, what Render, the company Render, the project Render, has done is they've taken all the other little dots on the left, which is all the other computers in the world who want to join. And what they do is, let's say you own a computer and you don't use it much. You certainly don't use it when you're sleeping, and you don't use it much when you're sending an email or a text message. And so most of the time, your computer's computing ability is sitting there wasted and unused. And so the project Render has gone to thousands of people now, but eventually millions of people, and says, can you connect your computer to us? It's on the internet. Just press this authorization button, and then you'll automatically be on the Render network. When an originator needs your computing power, that's the single dot off to the side. When the originator needs the computing power, the gigantic computing power, instead of buying it himself, what he does is uses your unused computing capacity, but not just yours, maybe thousands or millions of other people's. And so the brilliant idea is an originator doesn't need all that vast computing power himself for the rare times that he needs it. The company Render is creating this entire matrix, this entire network of tens of thousands or millions of other computers that are connected, and then uses their computer power when the owner of that computer is asleep or just doing low volume jobs. And so how does the mathematics of it work? How does the money of it work? How does the tokenomics of it work? Well, if you're an originator, instead of spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on a gigantic computer, all you do is you pay the company Render in Render tokens. You give them 5 Render tokens or 100 Render tokens in order to use the computing power of the Render network. So you pay that money, and what does Render do? They give those Render tokens to people who own the computers that you're using the computer power of. And so people are making money while they sleep. for doing nothing. And actually they are doing nothing. It's their computer that's doing something. They're just giving permission for their computer's unused computing power to get used, which doesn't hurt the computer. It doesn't hurt anything. They're just making money. So at the end of the month, if their computer is used a certain amount of time, they might get 5 render tokens. They might get 100 render tokens. They might get 1,000 render tokens. And so the people who give their computer, who like rent their computer's computing ability, are earning rent called render tokens. The originator, that's the guy off to the side who wants to have rendering done, pays for it. And then the company render, the project render, takes a small slice of each of it. And that's decentralization. Instead of one person owning gigantic computing power, that one person, the originator, uses the computing power of all the unused computers around the world who are in the render network. That is an amazing idea, a really, really amazing idea. And now let's look at the technical analysis, because just because you understand render and just because you know it is needed in this world doesn't mean it's a good time to buy. So let's listen carefully. Render token, you can see on the screen right now, is got 700 million, 691, but let's just say 700 million of market cap. And it's a lowly 144th on the ranking. Like Bitcoin is number 1, Ethereum is number 2, and render is way down at 144. That's wrong. That's proof that it is undervalued, extremely undervalued, because every single project in the metaverse needs rendering. All of the metaverses have these exquisite backgrounds that need rendering. All of the NFT avatars need rendering. All the weapons need rendering. Everything needs rendering. The higher and higher is your definition, like the higher and higher is your resolution, the more rendering you need. And everybody wants their metaverse to be crystal clear and beautiful. And that means they're going to want more and more and more rendering. Basically, the only project around that does rendering is Render. They're the first mover and they are brilliant at it. It's going to be difficult for anyone else to break in because Render does such a fabulous job. And it's not in the top 10. For gosh sakes, it's not even in the top 100. That's why it's undervalued. So let's look at the graph. You can see I've shown you the graph for the last 90 days. And for the first 45 of those 90, it just sat around doing nothing. And then it shot up and now it's falling back down and it has formed a wedge. And look at it. It has to break out of the wedge because we're a day or two from getting to the point of the wedge. Now, what happens is it typically goes up or it goes down because it has to go somewhere because it's got to exit the wedge. And because it's so needed, because it's so powerful, because it's so low in the market cap ranking, my guess is that it's going to go up. Remember, this is education and entertainment. If you want to invest, go ahead. But I didn't tell you to invest. You got ideas from me and then made your own decisions. So my guess is it's going to go up. Now, I think Bitcoin before Christmas, or at least before New Year's, might dump again. It dumped down about $10,000 from 55 to 45. And still the little minnows who are the worst educated are still too highly leveraged. And if the big whales can get Bitcoin to dump again from say 45 to 35, then all those over leveraged minnows will get wiped out. And then the whales can allow the bullish whales can allow the coins, Bitcoin and all the other altcoins to skyrocket up, and the whales will make money. And you and I, the dolphins, that means the educated people who don't just happen to have 1,000 Bitcoins in our wallet. The whales will make money, the dolphins will make money, and the minnows, as always, will get wiped out. So I think there's going to be a dump of Bitcoin, which will move all the altcoins down, but that'll be temporary. That'll just be like a week or a few hours or days. And then render's going to go straight up. But how much? Well, let's look at the prediction that Yoda and I are making. I think that render is so powerful and so useful and such a requirement in the metaverse that it could be not just in the top 100, not just in the top 10. I think it could be number 5. And right now, Solana is number 5 and its market cap is 57.3 billion. And as I just mentioned to you, render's market cap at 144th is 0.7 billion. So if you divide 57.3 by 0.7, you get 82x. 82x. That means render, whose price right now, noon on December 19th, 2021, render's price right now is $4.49. If you multiply that by 82, you get 368. From $4.50 to 368, 82x, 82x. That means if you invest $10,000 into render, then very soon it'll go to 820,000. That means if you invested just a little bit more, about $12,000 or $13,000, you're a millionaire. $12,000 or $13,000 and you're a millionaire. That's what Yoda says. That's what I say. I think it is the most undervalued coin in the entire cryptoverse. Now, if you don't really care about render and you want to choose a coin that is in the top 100 because you don't want to take that much risk, then that's okay. Just go right here and learn about some of the other coins in the metaverse that I just love. And this is an entire playlist of the best coins. Also, you must subscribe. I'm giving you this information for free. I study and study hours every day to bring you the most brilliant wisdom. Your job is simply to subscribe. Just hit that subscribe button and I'll love you and Yoda will love you. Everybody will love you. Hit the subscribe button. Also leave me comments. What do you like the most? What do you like the least? I'd like to know. And Google and YouTube put me in front of more people, the more I get liked and the more I get subscribed. So that's your job. I love you. You now know way more than you did just a few minutes ago. MetaMan signing out. Hello, and thank you for listening to that exciting video. Now, click on Meta in order to subscribe so that other people will enjoy it too. And click right here to enjoy my previous video. And click right there to enjoy the video about Sand, my favorite crypto metaverse coin.